Hey everybody, PattyAnne here. I am so excited to be able to bring you this free file today. I'm going to show you how to use it in CRICUT Design Space. There are some things that you'll have to do with it to get it to work perfectly for you there, but I'm telling you what, Tammy worked her little butt off getting this ready for you guys. I mean, she had to work and work and work. Because, you know, bringing some things into CRICUT Design Space is not as easy as you would think. That's why so many of us prefer using our Silhouette machines with Silhouette software. So anyway, if you got a CRICUT, I'm going to show you how to use these beautiful designs in CRICUT. And by the way, I'm not going to show you how to put the card together. When I get to that point, I'm going to link to the video where Stephanie explains and demonstrates that beautifully. So let's get started. Okay, when you go to the library on my blog, you'll simply click on the image and it'll download the zip file. Once you have the zip file, you will have to unzip it, okay, or just unzip it basically to get it ready to use. Once you've unzipped it or extracted it, you'll have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 files that you can use for this project. The only one that I'd say is kind of optional is the bunnies. If you don't want to have bunnies in yours, you wouldn't have to do this one, but we included it in case you're making an Easter card. This would be perfect for Mother's Day, any kind, birthday, get well soon, thinking of you, in sympathy, just anything. This is just a multi-purpose card. So the first thing that I would do is after I've done this, I uploaded them. Hopefully you know how to do that in CRICUT Design Space. So they're all ready to go. So I'm going to start here on the left with the card front and layer and frame and the basket. So I'm going to click on that and I'm going to say add to canvas. Once I've added this to my canvas, there's something very important that you must do, and that is to change the sizing. Sizing changes oftentimes when you bring things into CRICUT. So how do you know what size to change it to? Well, right up here in the layers panel at the very top, Tammy has included the width that this thing should be before you ungroup it. So the width should be 7.009. So I'm going to make sure this lock is locked, and I'll come to the width and I'll change it to, what was it? Oh, it's right over there, 7.009. And before you hit enter, just check and make sure that the size looks correct up here. So I will hit enter, and that just ever so slightly resize this one. The next thing you'll want to do is begin ungrouping things. So I can click on this and come up here to where it says ungroup. Oftentimes I'll right click and say ungroup. Now let's see, that ungrouped this and this. What else? Oh, this. So it ungrouped quite a bit of things, but I will need to ungroup some more. So let's see. I know this now is the card front layer and the frame. So we're not going to keep this thing that says that on it. So I'm going to ungroup this again and get rid of this and actually just delete it. I'll remember that this is the frame for the front of the card and this is the card front. Okay, so I'll delete this. The next thing I'll do is I'll ungroup these things because I don't want this word card base and layers to print or to cut. So I'll right click and say ungroup, or again I could come up here and ungroup. Ungroup. See if that allows me to take this off. It sure does. So this is the card base, which you can see here. Okay, and then these are the layers. Okay, so I'm going to get rid of this. All right, now on the card base, if you're going to cut this with your machine, this right here should be the score line. I want to show you a little secret to how to figure out what are score lines when we make things for you for CRICUT. If I click on this, notice it just says basic cut. If I click on, I might have to ungroup it first. Let's ungroup this. Okay, now if I click on this, It's the basic cut, and it shows you the color of the line around it. Okay, that's the outer basic cut. If, on the other hand, I click on this little piece in the center, it's going to show up as green. Anything that shows up as green will be a score line in CRICUT. So you'll need to change it right here, the operation, from basic cut to score. And once I click off, look what it did. It made it into a score line. There's another important thing to remember, and that is you want this score line to stay with the piece it belongs with. So what you'll do is grab both of these things. These two things should be selected, and if we look over here, we have the basic cut selected and the score line, and we're going to attach. And that will make that score line stay exactly where you need it to be. Okay, there aren't any score lines on this. Here's another piece we're going to have to right click and ungroup, or go over to the right hand and ungroup, because we want to take this little tag off that says basket. We no longer need that. I'll exit out. So let's see, if I ungroup all of this, the outermost edge, if you'll notice, it says it's a basic cut, which is gray, which is perfect. But I can tell you that this piece right here is green, and green means, yep, score. So change that to score. Okay, here's another one. Let's click on this, see what color it is. Green, change it to score. Green, change it to score. And you may be thinking, what doesn't show up? Mine didn't get like a dash line. Well, mine does not look like a dash line either yet until I click on my canvas right here, and there it is. So I can click on this one, hold down my shift key, I believe, and get these other ones. I can do 3 at one time, change all of those to score lines. There we go. And this big old line here, hold down my shift, get that line, change both of these to score, and that's it. So this is going to cut out, and this is going to be the basket into which you're going to be gluing your flowers. However, don't forget, there's an important part, because look, if I move this, the score lines don't stay at all where I need them to be. So I'm going to hit undo, put that back, grab all of these, make sure it's all grabbed, and say attach. And now if I click off and then click back on and I move this, they all stay just like this. So then I would go to make it. And I noticed that this is really close over to the edge. So what I did on mine was I just moved this over on this side because I used a certain color for this one. And I measured how big it was by looking back at the other. Well, what am I talking about? Let me show you. I'll cancel that. I can tell I'll need a piece that's about 2.5 inches wide. I made mine 3 inches by 10.5, and I made mine 11 because I used an 11 by 8.5 sheet of paper. So I cut a rectangle 3 inches by about 11. I did that out of green. I wanted mine green. Out of white, I cut a piece that was about 7 inches by 10 inches. Or actually, I made it 11 inches by 8, to be honest with you. So then I went to make it, and again, I just moved them apart like this. And notice it says score and basic cut. So if I continued to my machine, and I haven't explored Air 2, this would also work in any other machine. I chose medium cardstock heavy for mine, or medium cardstock, and I made my default pressure more. So notice it says the first thing to do is to load in the scoring stylus in clamp A, because it's going to score all of these things first, then it's going to cut. Let's cancel that. Are you sure you want to cancel it? Yes. So then it would go ahead and do the rest of these cuts. Don't think there were any other scores. So let's cancel that, because I think you should understand how to do this page now. Let's go to New and Replace. Next we'll go to Upload, and we'll go to this set right here. So I'll go there, Add to Canvas. First thing we got to do is This thing's only almost 3 inches wide. We know that's not right. So the first thing I'm going to do is look up here. What did Tammy tell us? She said the width should be 6.697. So with the lock locked, we're going to change just the width, and the height will change automatically. Change the width to 6.697. And again, I'm looking up here to make sure I don't have any crazy numbers. 6.697. The lock is locked. I'll hit enter. And now that's the exact size I need. So once again, we'll go through the same process we did before. Right click, ungroup. What can we move? There's the flower stems, layers for sentiments. That's what these all are. And we can ungroup these if we'd like to. It's not necessary, but we can. All right, so again, I would delete this, and I would come over here and ungroup this because we want to get rid of the layer flower stems label. Delete. And then we would just go to make it. And on one of the sheets would be all the green stems for the flowers. There are some things here. If you wanted to just cut a rectangle, maybe cut a rectangle 5 by, you sit this down here, 5 by 8 or 5 by 9, so they can all fit there. They can rearrange these as well, and those also. So that's all you would do on that one. It's just a regular cut. So now we'll go to New, Replace, Upload. So we've done this piece and we've done this piece. The bunnies I'm going to skip because they'll be the same as the flowers. Here are the sentiments. I'll add those to the canvas. And you get all of these sentiments, but before you mess with them, what do you have to do? Oh, you've got to change the width. Lock is locked. Change the width, the W width, to 6.531, and hit enter. Okay, there are these. Now on my card, I was just thinking I might just use the to someone special and have a lovely birthday. So what I did for mine, because I didn't want to print and cut all of these out, what I did was I came over here to the shape tool and just got a box and came over here, unlock this lock, drag the box like this, and then I grabbed everything, including the box, and I said slice. So what that should have allowed me to do is to have just those two things that I can use. And if you want to know, well, what are these two things going to look like? How are they going to cut? We can change our blank canvas by clicking here. We can make it a different color so we can see. And now you can see where is it going to cut. Around here and around here. I notice I got a little bit more junk in here I don't want. So what I could do there is get the shapes, get any old shape I want. Here it is. Go over top of that part I don't want. Grab all of these things and say slice again. And slice allows me to just slice that right out of there. Whoopsie. And delete everything over here. So what I would do now is I'd say make it. And of course it would, if I continued, it would tell me to send it to my printer first. And then it would print out and I'd bring it back and cut it. I'm going to cancel that. Are you sure you want to cancel? Yes. Cancel. Okay. Going to go to New, Replace, Upload, and we're going to go to the flowers. Now notice there are two different flowers here. That's because Tammy has flipped them horizontally or mirrored them, because you're going to glue them back to back, as Stephanie will show you shortly. But you're going to open this one, add it to your canvas. Comes in too big. Look, you have that little warning saying too big, you can't print and cut these. But remember, everything we bring in, we need to change the width to what Tammy gave us right here. Click on this. It's going to be 6.434. So with the lock, come up here, 6.434, enter. And then notice no longer is that little warning here, I can say make it. It's going to print all of these with the registration mark around it. After I've printed it, I'll put it in my machine to cut it. So let's see. I'm going to go ahead now. Let's see if there's anything else I need to show. I think that's pretty much it. Just real quickly now, I'm just going to run through a few of the videos that I did while I was printing and cutting mine. Okay, after I printed those out, I attached that printed paper. I printed it with my printer, and I attached that to my mat. Now I'm pointing out the little light that is being used to look for the registration marks on your page. It's going to go from side to side and really get a good read on those registration marks, so it will know exactly where to cut on your Cricut. After it's done reading all those registration marks, it'll go back up to the top and then begin cutting around each item on your page. Okay, if you look right here, you can see on my computer screen that it gives us a percentage of how much cutting has been done. So right now it's at 10%. Okay, and here you'll be able to see how easily after it's cut, this is going to come off the mat, and I'm just doing it with one hand because my other hand is holding my camera. So now let's continue on, and if you haven't seen it before, watch how to put this fabulous card together by clicking on the link that I have posted for you up above and also at the end of this video. So thanks so much for joining me. Hey, if you like our videos and our free cards, please give us a thumbs up and subscribe. Tell your friends, and use the links down below if you're in the market to purchase something. It really helps to keep us here at PattyAnnesPlace going. So again, thanks so much. See you again soon.